So, Blake, People magazine, they just came out with their 2024 Sexiest Man Alive.
No, please.
Yeah, they did. They did. And so, of course, we decided to do a country version. So we were like, hey, sexiest man in country music. And we came up with a whole list. And so now, I mean, since you literally were one of People magazine's sexiest men ever, who do you think is the sexiest man in country music?
Well, you have to lower the bar, in general when
Well,
we're talking
out.
about these guys.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about all of us country.
Y'all
guys,
don't think
the ones
country
that I
has
know.
hotties?
No. Not any of the ones that I know personally, because I'm thinking, there's a whole new generation coming up that I don't even know what they look like. I know their names. I see their music comes on the radio, all that stuff, but I don't know what they look like. I do know what guys like Luke Bryan looks like, and Jason Aldean, and they're ugly to me. I don't find them attractive,
What
so
about like
that's what
Sam
I mean. You have
Hunt?
to really lower the bar. Say what?
Sam Hunt.
He's better looking than Luke and Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently he must be high on your list. If
No.
you just kind of hurl him out there like that, you got a little bit defensive. Like, what about Sam? What about Sam Hunt?
Riley
He's
Green.
good looking. I'll give that to you.
No?
Who?
Riley Green.
Is it mustache, right? Mustache.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot.
Way better than Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you think these guys are hot. You're just scared to say it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good.
what?
Did she just what?
Well, like Lunchbox, for example, he says he cannot tell if a man is attractive or not.
Well, I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, I've been thinking about you a lot, Blake, and
Okay.
I saw that Old Red. There's this I don't know if it's a new concoction, maybe it's been on there a while, but it's a pimento cheese artichoke dip. Are you familiar?
No.
Okay,
This
well
sounds
that's
incredible.
It's
though.
on your menu
Okay.
at Old Red,
Okay.
and it got me thinking about weird food combos. And if you have any that you'll admit to that you eat at home, like are there any concoctions you're like, this is weird, but it's just so good?
Well, my brother, when I was a little kid, my brother used to mix like just regular like pancake syrup with peanut butter and mix that and put it on a piece of bread. I don't even know if it had a name. We used to just call it mix, and that was our like treat when we were kids.
Well, do you
Regular
ever?
like maple, whatever Griffin's, whatever syrup and peanut butter.
Do you ever eat mix like now as an adult?
No, but I haven't thought about it in years. I remember one time we used to have dares where we would try to as kids, like mix up the grossest crap you can think of, to eat, like a combination of something, and then dare it was whoever's turn it was had to eat it. And I watched my sister eat mayonnaise and Nestle's Quick one time mixed together.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's still to this day is horrifying to me.
Oh yeah, no, that's not a good
You
concoction.
agree?
Yeah, that's
You
gross,
agree?
man.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I had to eat dirt
My
once.
sister's gross, man. It's, yeah.
She's gross. Yeah, I did. I think all kids did that. And one time I mixed up a bunch of like really good ingredients from the fridge, but with dirt. And my mom thought it was wasting food, so she made me eat it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
How was it?
it was disgusting. So I don't recommend that. I decided to ask AI, like to describe Blake Shelton in 3 words.
Oh, God.
Do you want to know the 3?
Sure.
Charismatic,
Oh, okay.
authentic,
Okay.
and hilarious.
Man, I love this AI.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel this is very complimentary
Because
of you.
that made me nervous because AI only knows to tell the truth, right?
Yeah, well, which speaking
maybe.
of, well, I do have some fun facts about you. I have no idea if they're actually true or not, so you could say if they are.
Where did you get these facts from?
The internet.
Wikipedia? Okay.
Well, you just like Google it, like.
I love Wikipedia.
Yeah. Are you? So you're not into bare feet? Like, do bare feet freak you out?
Yeah.
So like, you always have socks on, or like if you're with people, they have to have socks on, or shoes?
I think this started. I don't know when it was. There was a trend, and it may still be going. In country music, there was a handful of artists that they would perform in their bare feet, like walk out on a festival stage in their bare feet, and it kind of started there for me. It's like, man, what what are you doing? You know, and it's not as much about someone's foot, because I mean, who cares about that? But it's like, what if there's an emergency? And then it switched into guys wearing flip-flops. That really started bothering me the older I got.
Sounds like Jimmy Buffett started all this.
Yeah, well, it's like, if there's an emergency, that's pretty much, you have shown yourself to be the guy that's not going to help anybody.
So you mean an
in
emergency?
the room? Like if there's a fire, if something's going on, you can't help. You got on your flip-flops. You got to go save yourself.
Yeah, good point.
And us guys in here wearing our cowboy boots will help get the children out of the building.
So do you not own a pair of flip-flops?
No, God, no.
No. So do you? Well, you only wear cowboy boots and like maybe running shoes?
Yeah.
What about like Crocs?
I'm a big runner. But I do. I have shoes and boots. That's it.
I meant like running would be, the running shoes would come in handy in an emergency.
I do not own a pair of flip-flops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. What do you do for, working out?
Treadmill. I'll get on the treadmill for like 30 minutes or maybe 45 minutes.
Like walking?
And I do it's like a combination, like walk for 28 minutes and then mix in like 30 seconds of runs here and there,
Yeah. Okay, next fun fact that we don't know if it's true or not. You once caught an intruder at your uncle's house and detained the drunken man yourself until the police arrived?
Let's go.
Well, detained him was it's not like I had him down on the floor and, saying don't move, it was more like, and drunk, I think he had a lot of stuff in his system, and I really think he thought in his mind that's where he lived, and so my uncle who was special needs, he called and said, hey, there's this guy in my house, and he's just like sitting on the couch saying, he lives here. And so my initial thought was, what's going on over there? And I went and knocked on my uncle's. I can't even believe I'm telling this. I hadn't thought about this in 15 years or more. And the guy answered the door as if it was his house. Like, yeah, can I help you? And it's like, yeah, get the hell out of this house. What are you doing? And he's like, what are you talking about? I go, you know what I'm talking about? Like one of those deals. And meanwhile, the police are coming and I just kept him entertained, until they got there.
Well, I'm glad you clarified it, because I definitely was picturing you like sitting on top of him.
No,
detaining, like citizen's arrest.
What does that mean, entertain? You didn't sing a song or anything, did you?
I may have. I don't know. I just
pulled out the guitar.
Trying to keep everything,
You think when that guy sobered up, he's like, so Blake Shelton just came over.
No, I don't. I think even sober, he wouldn't have known who I was. This man had other things on his mind.
Your mom put you in pageants when you were younger.
Are you saying that just because then you say that and then you just stare at me with like,
because that's the fun fact.
Disappointed look on your face.
No, not at all.
Is that true?
No, this is fun facts. Are they true or not?
It is true.
Okay.
It is true. Because, and here's why, the way I remember it is I was already messing around with music even when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. In my bedroom, I would just be in there, playing Ted Nugent, Cat Scratch Fever, and Hank Jr., whatever records my brother had. I would be playing them as loud as I could, singing them into one of those little plug-in microphones that you won't remember, but back in the day, you could have a little tiny microphone that you could record over cassettes with, and I would be singing into that microphone, and my mom finally decided maybe she should enter me into some of these pageants in our small town, because there's a talent portion of the pageant. I got to sing a song on there. So she did. She entered me in probably 4 or 5 pageants, enough that I told her one day, Mom, I don't want to sing anymore if that's what I have to do to sing, because it's embarrassing to be up there doing evening wear and stuff, with all the little girls, and I'm the one boy, in the pageant. So I was probably like 12 or 13 before I started singing again, just like regular music events around our town back in Ada, Oklahoma. That's true also. That's where I'm from, in case you're about that.
We got that as a fact. Okay, we got 2 more. One being, you've been confused for Joe Nichols, so much so that people at festivals used to get mad at you for not playing songs like, probably Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off. Or
That's happened with a lot of artists, over the years, that being confused for other artists. I remember one time they used to have CMA Fest over here at the Nashville Fairgrounds back in the day, and there was a parking lot where all the artists could park to go in and sign autographs or whatever, And I remember one time I used to have super long hair, like halfway down the middle of my back, and I was leaving one time, and fans had figured out they could go stand next to the fence where that parking lot was, and they didn't mess with standing in stupid lines in the building. They could catch their favorite artists right there going to their car and get autographs, And so I was leaving. I had like one song out, maybe not even yet, and I was almost to my car, and I heard some fans say, Terry Clark. No. And I stopped, and I started looking around like, oh my God, Terry Clark's out here. And then when I looked back at the fans, they were kind of like, oh, and
that's a dude.
And looked away, and they were like, I realized they thought I was Terry Clark.
Wow.
When I was leaving, and I've told Terry this also.
How'd she feel about that?
We don't know which one is more offended. Right. But then later on, it was Joe Nichols, because Joe and I had pretty much the same haircut at one point, and he came out, and I do remember, like, you didn't play Broken Hearts, Phil. At signing autographs after the show. I used to tell people in airports, they would come up and say, are you Joe Nichols? And I would say, yes. And I hate kids. Oh, gosh. And you, just to try to get a leg up, because back then.
Yeah, competition.
Yes.
Stiff.
I was up against him on all the award shows and stuff. So, yeah, screw him.
Yeah. And final fun fact. We're going to find out if it's true or not.
Okay.
Gwen Stefani says having you in her life is a miracle.
That sounds like a stretch, doesn't it? I mean, let's...
No, but I really did read, like a couple of days ago, that she said meeting you was like a second chance at life. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure that
I've seen this stuff too. I've been seeing it because she's released an album.
Oh yeah.
On Friday, and so I've been seeing. she's doing all the press and stuff, and I've been seeing this stuff too. It's the sweetest, nicest things. I can't believe it.
I know.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I felt like reading that. It gives a lot of other people hope that maybe are on their second chapter or third or whatever life,
Well, I tell you, it's amazing, that to get this on this end of life, I'm 48 now, and to have met my best friend, 8 or 9 years ago is pretty incredible. You just never know what's out there, what's around the corner, and she's just been, everything she's saying is, I feel the same way. It's been an incredible connection. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like it does offer hope for people that maybe they're turning into that second chapter, whether it's age or just a divorce or, what is my life going to look like now? Because this isn't going how I expected it.
Sure.
But hearing people open up and say, like, yeah, there are second chances out there. And it's not to say that the first part, I don't think she would change anything about any of that. And obviously her kids and whatnot. Yeah. But it was beautiful, and it gave me some hope, honestly. Yeah.
So I tell you too, and we were on rock bottom. We hit rock bottom before we found each other, So that sounds worse when you say it like that. Like, hey, you got to. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I don't mean it like that, but just when we thought that was going to be our run at it, is when we found each other.
Well, don't you think hitting rock bottom? Then you evolve into this next version of yourself. Like, that's the stuff that stretches you and grows you. So if y'all had met earlier, it probably wouldn't have been the right time, because it's this version of both of you that y'all needed.
Yeah, that's true. But it's fun for us to think about, what if we would have known each other like way back? What would it have been like, Mm-hmm. She's written a lot of songs about that. I think there's even one on this new record about that, because it's just like I say, it's amazing that this chapter started so late in our lives.
Well, she's got new music. You've got new music. Austin was your first number one song way back in the day. And then now you kind of got you got Austin, and now you got Texas, which I was born and raised in Austin, Texas.
Oh, no kidding.
Shout out.
Wow.
And so Texas, I immediately gravitated towards it when it came out, and huge George Strait fan as well. Love that he gets a shout out in the chorus. Why did you decide to cut that song?
Well, I just fell in love with it the first time I heard it, and it's been a minute since I've released any music. It's
2 years.
Yeah, and it's been I don't know how long it's been before I've even released an album. It's been a while, and I was doing The Voice for 12 years and 23 seasons of that show I did. And so when I finally walked away from, really I wasn't just walking away from The Voice, it was just television in general. I just needed a break from that machine. When it was just kind of numb when I finally walked away. It was like, gosh, I just need some nothing for a while, and it sounds like a spoiled brat thing to say, but I just kind of didn't really feel like I knew what I wanted to do anymore, because I had just kind of been on the hamster wheel of that beast that is, television. And so for a year and a half, I really didn't do much. I mean, I did do a little tour in there and a handful of shows, but really not anything else. And I wasn't making any records. I wasn't recording or writing or doing anything. And man, I'll be damned if last spring I got a call to do this duet with Post Malone, and I was shocked, honestly, because it was just like, what? Like me? He wants me to do this? And so I heard the song and was like, this sounds like something that I would have done anyway, And hell yeah, I'll do it. I had met Post at the Super Bowl last year. Gwen and I had done a pregame performance, and then Post sang America the Beautiful before the game, and so we saw each other and traded phone numbers, but that happens a million times in this business, and you never expect to hear from somebody. It's like, oh, let's get together, sure. But he followed up, and so we made that recording, and then of course it came out and was a hit, and the whole experience for me, and even being around Post, I'm sure he's probably. You guys have probably talked to him now. I'm sure. I don't know, but what he's like. He's just so excited, nice, so happy, and just so full of excitement about music and country music, especially. And being around him, shooting the video. We've done some performances, and it was just honestly the kick in the ass that I needed to kind of go, man, what are you doing? You used to be this fired up, and being around him really lit a fire under me again, and reminded me that, nobody gets to do what I do. Very few people get to be a recording artist and do what they dreamed of doing when they were a kid, and I get to do that, and I'm wasting this time, and so I really do credit Post for getting me fired back up again and wanting to get back in the studio and really kind of start over again. I got a new record deal, starting with a whole new team, and just kind of really just turned the page. And so to answer your question though about Texas, it was a song that I felt like it's got a connection to me and who I've been as an artist all these years. I had a record years ago called Sangria, and it's got a little bit of that kind of vibe to it, but it also feels like a step in a new direction, which I always try to do when I go in and make a record. That's what my heroes like Conway Twitty and Kenny Rogers, their catalog, when you listen to them, they're always kind of pushing the envelope. And I feel like this song does that musically for me, and of course, the tip of the hat to George Strait in the chorus. If you don't like George Strait, you probably don't have any friends. So I got to have, even everybody loves George Strait, I hope. And so I love the tip of the hat to George in the chorus.
What's your favorite George Strait song?
Man, I perform all my exes in my shows a lot, and but it's probably not my favorite. My favorite is probably Oceanfront Property. I don't know why. I just always go back to that one. But there's so many, and there's so many that were number one hits that are almost forgotten because he's had so many number one hits. It's like I've said before, I've done a lot of shows with George over the years. I go, man, it's impossible to go to a George Strait song and leave without going, man, he didn't play one of my favorite songs, because how can he possibly play 80 songs in his set? There's just literally so many to choose from.
Well,
there's some of those back in the 80s that are forgotten that are just incredible. Like
the Chair.
Oh, the Chair, Chill of an Early Fall. There's a.
So
I mean, we could sit here and do this for another hour.
Well,
let's not do it. But I love him so much. I don't want to take away from my time.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. But your nod to George in the song is the Amarillo by Morning. That's one of his.
Yeah. Well, Amarillo's in there, and also he says that's where all my exes go. So I got them both in there.
Yeah, you squeeze that one in there. I saw a video of the writers of the song.
I saw that too. I still haven't met them in person yet. I'm supposed to meet them today, either today or tomorrow. I think I'm finally going to get a chance to meet them, because I think for three of them it's their first single that they've had. Maybe all four of them, but I think three of them it's their first single. And one of the writers has been here for like 15 years or something, which I totally relate to. I was here for 7 years before I had any kind of a break, so, it just shows you that, just same thing we were talking about with Gwen, you just never know what's around the corner.
Yeah. I just thought it was really special. Like, they had to probably be freaking out. Oh, Blake Shelton's going to cut our song. And then they're hearing it on the radio for the first time.
Oh, my God. One of them was standing on the top of their car, crashing the hood in or something. It was pretty funny.
No, that gave me goosebumps. That's like, just probably cool for you, too, as an artist, to be part of helping them, round that corner, make that dream come true.
Well, those guys helped me. I always look at it that way. When songwriters, there's so many great, talented songwriters in this town, like, it's literally unbelievable, and they've built this thing for me. The writers have, I'm just a lucky guy that's been able to get my hands on some of these songs, and no different than Texas. I think it's a special song, and I feel like those guys took a chance on me. I mean, I'm not the new up and comer anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate them giving me a chance with it.
Well, Texas is catchy. It'll get stuck in your head for sure. It's good. And, we were talking about Austin earlier being your first number one song. You have 29 number one songs. Okay.
That's
all right. Name
that's
them.
What I heard when the Post thing went, because I think different charts have different criteria or whatever. But I heard that I was tied with Tim McGraw for I think the second or third most of however they do the charts now. We all know that George, nobody's ever catching him, but I thought that was pretty cool, because I look up to Tim. It's like, what? Man, Tim. Wow.
But do you think you could name them all?
Of mine?
All 29?
I probably could.
I mean, I know you could, but go ahead.
No. Oh, my God.
Well,
we'd be here. You actually do have things coming up on your calendar.
I tell you, there's a lot of my songs that people think were number ones. Not maybe not a lot, but there's some that people think were number ones that weren't even close. Like "Oh Red," which is probably, arguably, one of my bigger hits. As far as the impact goes, that was not even a top 10 single when it came out. I think it went somewhere in the teens, but it went on to be the fan favorite, and now there's restaurants named after it around the country, but it wasn't even a top 10 song at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of all you have coming
So
up.
let's just go ahead and say 30 when I say it that way. I mean, you know, it really should have been.
Yeah, 30. Well, and then, Texas. I mean, I don't want to. Do you believe in the jinx or any of that stuff? Like, if I were to say right now, Texas is so good, it's probably going to be your next number one. You might be like, well, if it doesn't go number one, then it's.
Yeah,
Amy
I do believe that stuff. Thanks a lot.
You do? I didn't just say it. I was asking hypothetically.
When it comes to football, I do. When it comes to my football teams, I do believe in jinxes.
What do you do on game day? Do you have like a hat or a shirt or something you have to do?
Yes, and when we're on defense, I turn my hat backwards. When we're on offense, it's forward. Unless that's not working, then I reverse those things.
Interesting.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you should
and that
try
works?
that. Y'all should try. No.
But then why do you do it?
Well, I feel like I'm contributing something to the team.
If your team loses, does it completely derail your day?
Yes.
Days?
No, not days, but it will derail the day and part of the next day, and then I start to get over it. Then I start to find ways to find a different path to the playoffs than the one that I had in mind. You guys are Cowboys fans.
Yeah,
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm done turning my hat around. I don't work anymore.
You may want to just take the hat off this year for the rest of the year.
They're used to them losing, but it's a psychological thing. It's like you think you're a part of the team, so therefore fans, not you, Blake, just you, but most big hardcore fans, they are a part of the team and they feel like they're contributing in their own way. And then when they lose, it's like they've actually lost when like you are not on the team at all.
I feel like this feels like therapy right now, doesn't
It usually is.
Right.
with
Well, I
Amy.
mean, I'm just like,
what are you trying to take this away from me?
no, but I just don't know that it should impact you for a day, you know? So do you have to go like plow some stuff or what do you do to let the anger out?
Drink.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's healthy.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
And when we're winning, that's what I do to celebrate.
Drink.
Yeah.
What's your favorite drink?
Vodka and Sprite Zero.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at you.
Yeah.
Watching the calories.
It's the nectar of gods. Watching the calories, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Right.
So, you're talking about a little hiatus, but I'm looking at 2025 and it's like you're back. Like
Oh
you're
my
like,
God.
okay, I'm
What have
ready
I
to.
done?
Yeah, I know. You're doing a residency in Vegas, basically all of February.
Oh my God. By the way, Gwen gets so mad when she sees the word residency.
What's wrong with that?
Because it's 2 weekends. She's like, that is ridiculous that you call that a residency. I did like 63 shows.
Well,
you're doing like 6 shows.
It's exactly what you're doing. 6
Yeah.
shows. You're doing the 5th, the 7th, the 8th,
She
the 12th.
said, you're just like staying
14th,
over an
15th.
extra weekend. That's not a residency.
Well.
But they're calling it a residency, and I'm going with them.
They are. It's at the Coliseum and Caesar's Palace.
Yep.
BlakeShelton.com for more details on that.
Yeah.
And then you have your Friends and Heroes dates, which you are basically February to March.
Yes. Friends and Heroes is, by the way, my favorite way to tour. It's going to be hard to ever get me to go back to doing it another way because it's just so much fun. I mean, the shows are like...
Well, describe Friends and Heroes.
Yeah. Well, what it is it started, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe even before that. I remember specifically a conversation with Trace Atkins about 7 years ago. Now I think about it, and I called him. And I said, "Man, Trace, what are you doing like early next year, like February, March?" And I don't know why. And I said, "Well, man, I want you to come out and tour with me, but I don't want you to like tour with me." I said, "I want you to come out and sing with me during my show." Like I said, remember when Uncle Cracker used to do that with Kenny Chesney? Like Kenny Chesney would go on stage, and then halfway through the show, Uncle Cracker would come out and they would sing. They had a When the Sun Goes Down, and then Uncle Cracker would sing another hit or two of his. It was a big moment during the show. I said, I want you to come do that on my show because we had at the time Hillbilly Bone, and he said, well, okay, I'll be your Uncle Cracker. and so from there, it was so much fun. The next year, I had John Anderson, the Bellamy Brothers, and then we did that for a couple of years, and then I ended up getting Tracy Byrd and Martina McBride. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but we've done these tours now where we bring out different artists, and they all come out during my show, you know. And so this year we're having Craig Morgan, Trace Atkins, and Dina Carter, which I'm very excited about. Dina Carter, not so much Craig or Trace.
Well,
but
Craig's
Dina
still like
Carter.
a legit hero.
I know. But I know him. I can't brag on him too much.
Okay.
We know each other too well.
Yeah.
But Dina Carter, I mean, I guess we should look this up while we're here, but she has to have had maybe top 5 biggest hits of the 90s, Strawberry Wine. I mean, it's got to be top 5. I don't know how you measure those things. One of the biggest hits.
I feel
of
like
the
Strawberry
decade.
Wine was the number 1.
No, I'm saying of the entire
All time.
decade.
All time.
Of the all-time decade.
I would say decade top 5. Would you?
Yeah, let's figure out that fun
That
fact.
is a huge record.
I can't even the first that song comes on, I hear for like 3 seconds of it, and I'm instantly teleported to high school.
It's unbelievable.
Listen to it on repeat.
And what's crazy about that song is it did that to you when it first came out,
Yes.
too. It teleported you to back in time. And now it does it again in a different way when you hear it.
Like, even just thinking about it right now, I'm driving in my 1986 Bronco. What was your first car?
I had a 94 step-side Chevy.
Your first car, you turned 16 and it was a 94? That's not
No,
bad.
90. That's not true. 92.
Oh, nice.
It was a 92.
Okay.
It was a step-side GMC. My dad sold Pontiacs and GMCs.
Oh, so you had a little hookup.
Yeah, I had
So
an
I'm like,
N.
wow, you had a new car.
That's right.
New car
That's
at that
right.
time. Not saying that your age would indicate anything
No,
otherwise.
you're saying I grew up wealthy.
No,
That's what you're saying.
I'm implying you had a newer car for 16.
It was badass. All my friends were super jealous of me.
All right, Mike, we got the fact check on Strawberry Wine.
It does not make the top 10 of the 90s.
It does not?
No, it does not.
It
What is
does
that
in our
piece
hearts.
of crap list you're looking
Yeah.
at, man?
Well, I mean,
The
what
internet lies.
like what
It
does?
sucks.
Any
What is number 10 on that list?
On number 10 is Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
okay.
And it's This Kiss,
Ah.
She's a Little Too Late, Chattahoochee, Boot Scoot and Boogie, Don't Rock the Jukebox, The Dance, Friends in Low Places, and Achy Breaky Heart at number 1.
Okay.
Okay, I can't argue with any
I
of
mean,
those.
they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Obviously, Blake would have been on the list, but
Dina, you're fired. I'm sorry. I thought it was top 5.
you were, I think you came on the map. What was Austin 2001?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because I instantly go back to being at Texas A&M hearing that song.
Yeah.
That's where I was then.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. Whoop.
Wow.
Are we going to go over every memory, or you think we should let him go, Amy?
No, we're going to let him go. We're going to let
his
him
tour
go.
comes up in 2025,
I
and
know.
I think, we don't want to keep him
She's
here till
doing
then.
great. By the way,
Hey,
I mean, she just got thrown right into the
I
fire.
did.
I think she's
Thank
doing
you.
great. Come on.
Yes.
No,
like,
she's doing great, but I mean, he's got to get to the residency,
I
man.
know.
I mean, he's got to get to Vegas.
no, that's not until February.
Are you trying to throw me out of here? Is that what it is?
I just felt
I
bad
got a
for
lot
you.
of more stuff I want to talk about. here.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, yes. Thank you, Blake. We always love seeing you, especially in person, because I feel like a lot of times it's on Zoom when you're chatting with Bobby. So it's
Almost
fun to have you
every
in.
time it is, right?
I know. So that's why you in the flesh is
I mean, I finished my crossword over here, Amy. Let's go.
all right. Thanks, Blake. Blake Shelton, everybody.
Thank you.
It's a Bobby Bones show.